Underachievers. Got to go with our underachievers for week 1. Quarterback, underachiever. Y'all got to know who I got to come off my head first. All right. He was the number 30th scoring quarterback. This man was drafted as number 3 or 4 quarterback off the board this year in fantasy drafts. Yeah. There's still a game left tonight, meaning 2 more quarterbacks got to play. Meaning this man was last in scoring points, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was 30th overall, had 82 passing yards, no rushing yards. That's it. For the entire game, that's crazy. Who would have thought? I know it's not going to be like this for the rest of the year for Joe Burrow. I know this. We all know he was hurt with a calf injury. He missed a lot of time in preseason, so he was rusty. I'll give it up to a good defense. I'll give it up to game script. But Dak Prescott is another one on my list for underachievers this week. Dak Prescott was 27th overall. Only had 143 yards, but this is due to game script. The defense took over. Tony Pollard took over on the ground. Dak didn't even need to throw for them to blow out their opponent in the Giants 40-0 or something crazy like that. Yeah. Number 3, underachiever at quarterback. This guy was drafted as your QB1. He was drafted number 3 or number 4 coming off the board in fantasy drafts, Lamar Jackson. They get down to the goal line. Jackson was not running that ball. He did not one time not hand that ball off at the goal line. Game script could be a lot of that has to do with it. It's frustrating, man. I got Lamar Jackson in 4 or 5 leagues. It's frustrating for me because I went and got him into my QB1. I went and got him in the 4th round, which I could have got another value running back or value receiver at that time, and went and got a guy like Tua. But we can't panic. It's fantasy football. It's Lamar Jackson. Come on, man. Lamar's the man. I see Lamar still, being a top 10 quarterback this year. But what happened, it kind of disturbed me. It did. It did. What happened disturbed me. In Baltimore, I thought it was going to be, he could at least throw us up 15 points. Lamar Jackson ended up with like 9 points total on the game, which hurt a lot of fantasy managers who went and got him early. But there'll be better days for Lamar. Trust me. We're going to go with underachieving running backs. DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift is the first one that comes to mind. This man had 3 touches. 3 touches for DeAndre Swift, who was in the offense that fed 2 running backs last year in Miles Sanders and Gainwell. Gainwell comes and is the number 1 running back over there right now. Man had 15, I think it was 15 rushes and 2 or 3 touches through the air. And even the coach said at the end of the game that he doesn't think that there should ever be a game where DeAndre Swift gets 3 touches. But you were coaching that game, and that is what happened. DeAndre Swift, everybody thinks DeAndre Swift is the best running back on that team. Everybody. Who would have thought that DeAndre Swift would have got 3 carries? A lot of people had him in as his RB2. They're RB2. DeAndre Swift was being drafted as an RB2, and this man had 3 touches and let Gainwell out-touch him. Boy, it's going to be a long season for DeAndre Swift and DeAndre Swift owners. I put him on your bench. Put somebody else in that's going to be getting some carries, going to be productive. We'll let week 2 and 3 play out, and we'll go from there. Another guy on my list, Josh Jacobs. Everybody was drafting Josh Jacobs in the 2nd round. He was going as their RB1. This man rushed for 19 carries and only had 48 yards off those carries. Lackluster performance. A gut wrencher for all his owners who went and got him in the 2nd round. And then you got guys like Kyron Williams going off for 18 points. Yeah, that hurt. There'll be better days for Josh Jacobs. There'll be better days. Don't get rid of him. You got to start him. You went and got him in the 2nd round. Let's wait week 2 and 3 play out, and then we'll go from there. Number 3 on my list is going to be Najee Harris. Najee Harris only had 6 touches for 31 yards. He also had 2 receptions for 2 yards, meaning that the work that he did absolutely nothing with. Broke off 1 good run. It is due to game script. Steelers were out of it by halftime, like out of the game. It's over with. Mike Thomas, stick a fork in him. Deontay Johnson gets injured. That didn't help. You know, at least he can take the top off the defense. No more of that. They can load the box on Najee. I think he'll have better days. Kenny Pickett didn't have the best game. He was looking way better in the preseason. So they got a lot to talk about over there in Pittsburgh. Sorry, B. Henley. It is what it is, fella. We're going to go to our receivers. Top underachieving receivers for me at number one had to be Drake London. Everybody was drafting Drake London as a high wide receiver 2, low end wide receiver 1 for their teams this year. We thought he was going to get a lot of work. This man did not get one catch. I believe he had one target, 0 catches in Atlanta. Hey, with Algier and Bijan Robinson over there, it could be a long year for London. I'm sure he'll get 6 to 7 targets a game, but those 12 to 13 targets we were hoping for may not come into play. They still got Kyle Pitts to go to as well. But those running backs in that running game, I see them running the ball and passing the ball at the backfield, letting those talented backs get that rock more than I do see Drake London being a top 10 receiver this year. Sorry, Drake London owners. Number 2 on my list, Christian Kirk. Everybody had Christian Kirk as a high-end wide receiver 2 this year. This man had one catch for 9 yards, 1.9 points in fantasy scoring. Yeah, Christian Kirk was not the focal point of that offense. Everybody thought that he would at least be high-end our wide receiver 2, and we knew Calvin Ridley was going to get that rock, but we ain't know Calvin Ridley was going to get that rock. Calvin Ridley was a target monster. Every time he caught the ball, man, the yards after carry were ridiculous. Calvin really is the wide receiver 1 over in Jacksonville, and it's not going to change for the rest of the season unless he gets injured. If you got Christian Kirk, you might want to find somebody else to put in your lineup and keep him on the bench until something happens differently in that offense. You heard it here first. Another guy who is a big disappointment, I had to put him on my list. You know I'm a Bears fan, but DJ Moore, he was supposed to do a lot more than he did. Justin Fields should have been targeting that guy at least 12 targets. You guys paid him money to come over. You paid him to take the top off the defense. You paid him so Justin Fields could get him the ball, and he gets 2 receptions for 25 yards. Is that what y'all over there doing, Chicago Bears? Come on, Chicago. We got to be better than that, man. Trash. We're going to go with underachieving tight ends. Over in Philly, Goddard with 0 receptions. Come on, Jalen Hurts. We got to do better, man. We got to do better. Another tight end that I saw that really disappointed was Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, again, supposed to be a target monster. The guy had 2 receptions for 44 yards, 6.4 fantasy points. He was drafted as people's number 6 tight end coming off the board this year. Goddard, number 5 off the board this year. Tight ends, we got to do better. Woo!